Welcome back to Bleach anime review episode number 33. We're here reviewing the 23rd episode of Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War. Is it 22? I think it is. Let me take a look up at that just to be sure. This is actually the 22nd episode. So, last week was actually the 21st. So, if you're really curious, with this week's episode, we have about 4 more to go, and then we're done with this core. And I think it's going to resume in April, I believe it is. Yes, I believe so. Which is, believe it or not, also when Mushoku Tensei is going to resume. Yep. So, this episode adapts from pages 12 to the 16 of chapter 587, pages 13 and 19 of 588, mostly the entirety of 589, 590, and 591. Now, there is a scene here, which I'll get to when it comes to... let's talk about Ichigo first, him and his group. Well, we pick up where they left off last episode, where they were basically trying to avoid that big blue beam that went up to the Soaking Palace. And, well, then... and of course, everyone's like, oh, good, everything is all good, and we got new outfit. And of course, Ichigo does not comment on the fact that Chad and Orihime were in complete new attires. So then Kisuke shows that you want tickets to the Soaking Palace? Got me. So they go straight to the squad 12 barracks, where it's it's basically Kusuke's lab, where he builds basically a duplicate of the Kaku cannon, which was last seen in the show back in season 3 of the anime. Yeah, last time it was seen, wow. I'm like, we're going to call back to that. Now here's something interesting though, they're in there and they're preparing to go. Now here's the thing. Now, the way the manga presented this scene is that Chad asked Ichigo, what does he think of Orihime's new attire? And he's been blushing at it. And then we have this weird moment where Yorichi pops out of nowhere by sticking her hand right through Orihime's breast. And it's all basically poking fun of that. And then we have basically Yorichi showing up with a little stuff we have here. Yeah, this I thought was really weird. Now, this was a funny scene in the manga. Now, I get why they cut out the scene where, I guess some people were not happy they cut the scene, always see Rukia's rear end. Fine, whatever. But this scene was funny. What's wrong with basically being funny? Yeah, this moment was basically kind of for absolute no reason at all. So, basically they're preparing to go, and that's it for them. Yep, they get this little thing where the visors gather all this stuff. Or he basically, oh, look, it's Himiko. She's happy to see her, those recording. Get energy from these little fissures there in the area. And that's it for that. Meanwhile, though, Ikaku and... we briefly see Rukia and Renji take on... the guy who goes chicken headquarters calls his eyebrows cool, which he thought that was quite nice. Yep. And Byakuya basically is about to observe everything. A little stuff with him. And then we see Okaku and Yamaguchi, where they're basically running from... Well, first they have the zombie girl. Oh, you think our girl... And then, of course, she summons Bambi, who she's got, on a leash. Yes, Bambi. Well, it's actually Gazelle. They call her Gigi for short. Yep. And at one point, she possesses one of her own friends, Vamatia, who is a corpse. And she, just holds onto her, fires a bunch of, beams at them. And then Murderuri shows up, is a shame, I don't recognize, yeah, and of course the lieutenants, the two officers obviously recognize because of his voice, though he does tone it down, and he's oh, I'll just take 2 of you for experimentation. He's what to? And then she pretty much summons a army of zombie Soul Reapers, which, according to Akaku, all of these Soul Reapers are the dead members of Squad 11. And he's okay, So I'm not gonna fight my own people. So I'm bringing 4 dead Iran cars. Yes, 4 Iran cars. He brings back Charlotte Chalabon, Lipe Honoro, which is so funny. Cruci Sazwich, who was killed by, well, who actually got in a fight with Ururu from the Iran was so funny. And the Nori. I think this guy was one of 2 guys that fought Shad. It was so funny. Yeah, and of course they fight him, and then of course you have Charlotte basically immune from the, and of course apparently also very other guys they put all shock things in their bodies so they can shock them, and he's like, oh yeah, I love their screams. Charlotte's like, nah, doesn't affect me much at all. And then he just basically fights Bambi, like throws her right at a building near Marucci's like, if you're gonna hit me, you missed. And he's like, I wasn't trying to hit you. I thought that was funny. Yes. And then all of a sudden here they sent some like, who's on the roof like, oh crap, it's Toshiro and he's a zombie. What? He's a zombie. Well, they mentioned he supposedly died. But don't worry. And there's more of this next week, the next episode, which aired on Friday. Damn, this episode was good. But it's shame they cut out the funny scene with Orihime. I heard about they cut it out. I'm like, yeah, they cut out the entire scene for no reason. There's nothing wrong with this scene. It's funny. It's basically like Yorichi is basically just saying that Kitsuke's a pervert. Yeah, he kind of is. I'm like, what was wrong with keeping this scene here? Answer, now, this meeting had nothing to do with this at all. I blame this on Parrot for this. Yes. But damn, this is good. I love this episode. Yep, can't wait for the next episode airs on Friday. Now, we have exactly, like I mentioned, 4 more to go, and then we're on break again from the series. Because basically the end of the second core of the series. Now, next up is a review for One Piece, and then Comic Con, and after that it's on to, I was thinking of doing Jujutsu Kaisen. I figured though, I waited for this series to come back for over a year. Rise to Hero next after that. Okay, next video. Bye.